can hear you breaking up.
Alrighty! Welcome to the Achievement College Podcast, Episode 1. I'm your host, Aussie Gamer 17. You can call me Aussie. Joining me today is my co-host, Fox Plays Official, aka Fox. How are you, mate?
What's going on? Thanks for having me on the show, Aussie Gamer.
No worries at all. Now, I do want to let you guys know that here on the Achievement College Podcast, we are going to cover all the latest in the world of achievement and trophy hunting. Yes, that's right, achievements and trophies. We don't discriminate here. They both give us that amazing feeling when we hear that sweet, sweet sound. You know what I'm talking about. We're also going to talk... yeah, that's right, Fox. We're also going to talk about some of the big video game news from around the world and cover the latest releases and games coming to Xbox Game Pass, Games with Gold, and PS Plus. But before we get into all of that, Fox, I think I already said it, but how are you, mate? How you doing, Fox?
I'm doing just well. Been playing a lot of games. Well, I play games every day, so
You
a
sure
day
do.
playing games is always a good day to me.
That's right, mate. And tell us who you are, Fox, for those that don't already know. I think most of my followers and viewers will already know you, but if they don't, who are you, mate?
Yeah, so hey guys, my name's Fox Plays. I'm also a Twitch streamer just like Aussie Gamer. I don't make YouTube guys though, so he's got you covered there. I focus obviously on PlayStation, so I do the exclusives that you guys can't see on Xbox. But hey, if there's a game that you want to see me play, I'm on there as well. I also like to do some indie games and some hard stuff as well, so tune in if you'd like to see that.
All right, sounds about right, Fox. And I can second that. He is one of the best trophy hunters I've ever seen on Twitch. I've been searching for trophy and achievement hunters on Twitch. If that sounds like you, post a comment down below and let me know. But Fox
Tell
is
me
the
about
best
it.
one I can find. A couple of others we will no doubt mention throughout the show or future episodes, guys. At this stage, this will be a monthly show, but there are plans to make it a weekly show, guys. Now, I want to go straight into our first segment, and this is called What We've Been Playing. Fox and I are going to talk about the games we've been playing, but we're going to talk about it from a achievement slash trophy hunting perspective
Absolutely.
and what you can get from the achievement list or trophy list, guys. We're going to start with you, Fox. What have you been playing?
All right, so the three games I'll be covering at the moment. So the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Secret of Mana HD re-release, and a small indie game. Literally only heard of it the other day. I went, oh, I'm just going to download it called Doggerai.
I hadn't even heard of it until you told me either, which
Me neither. I saw it on a
shocked
video,
me.
it looks all right. I'll play it.
All
Who
right.
knows?
So where are we going to start? Final Fantasy VII? I think that's the big one that everyone wants to
Yeah, so
talk about.
I'm sure. So some of you guys want to be a little bit Final Fantasy VII Remake. You do have to do two playthroughs of it. So you do have to finish the entire game and then replay it again on hard mode. As for the trophies, pretty standard. Collectibles are pretty easy. They're not too hard. There is a chapter select at the end of the game, so once you do finish it, don't fret. You can go back to any chapter in that. Just the one thing you got to be careful of in the game is the dresses. So if you guys remember in Final Fantasy VII, the infamous cross-dressing scene in the beginning of the game, you do have to collect this 10 dresses. So there is a few moments we have to replay some chapters to get the ideal dress, continue on, go back, get the other dresses, continue on. It's probably the most time-consuming thing. Hard mode is quite
Good
challenging.
info. Good info.
Can't use items at all, so you can't use your Phoenix Downs or potions to heal up. So good luck. It's a bit challenging.
Okay. And what are we thinking overall completion time? What was it?
Oh, I haven't finished it yet. The game is quite extended compared to the
Oh, so
original
you're
Final
still on your
Fantasy.
hard playthrough, or you haven't
No,
started your hard?
I haven't finished it yet. I kind of got a little bit fed up with it. I'll go back to it eventually.
Okay.
But estimate time, we're looking roughly the 40 to 60 hour mark.
Okay. Nice. Nice. I did see someone that we know in the community got the plat in about 98 hours, so could be quite a big one.
Yeah, oh, I'm hoping not to waste that much time. I'm all about the
Well, yeah, you're
efficiency.
doing it, more efficiently. Like I said, he is one of the best trophy hunters I know out there. Okay, and I want to jump from that. Actually, what are your, thoughts on the game as a game, not just from a trophy perspective? A lot
I'm
of,
gonna need a whole 2 hour video to describe my
okay, well,
feelings
we're
on
going
it.
to talk about reviews on it a little bit later in the show, but I just wanted to get your initial thoughts at the moment.
Honestly, it's a good game. Should have been made, I'd say no, but it's still. If you've never played Final Fantasy VII before, it's pretty cool.
Okay,
Cool to see it in 3D. If you found the original game, some sequences they added to it enhanced the storyline. Other bits, I honestly felt like they were just trying to extend the game out, and yeah, I wasn't a big
Yeah,
fan of it.
there's a
But
lot of divisive opinions out there with that
I,
game.
I, I still think you should. It's still a must-play game. You should play it. I'm looking forward to see what the full package is going to look like when they complete the entire whole storyline.
All right,
Because I
well,
prefer to judge the game on the sequence. But anyway,
I'll consider it when it finally hits Xbox, depending on what else is out
1 year
around the time.
exclusive, baby. 1 year
Yeah,
exclusive.
let's not get into that here. I'm going to move on to my first game that I want to talk about, which is Resident Evil 3 Remake. Another remake,
Hmm.
which is crazy.
The year of the remakes.
That's right, yeah, and remasters and remakes. Always near the end of the like the console generation, they seem to be bringing out all the remasters and remakes. There are, I think, because a lot of development teams are all working on games for the new console generation, so it's a bit easier to just pump out a remaster, I guess.
It's that awkward transition period.
But yeah, now Resident Evil 3, I actually really, really loved this game. Again, it's a very divisive game out there. A lot of criticisms on the game for its length and so on.
Certainly
We're going to cover that later in the show. What I want to talk about is completing it, getting the platinum or the 1000 gamer score. And it's not too difficult, but it does offer the replayability that you wouldn't normally get out of it if you were just playing through it once. You are going to finish
Absolutely.
it in 5 or 6 hours, maybe 7 hours. If you're just playing it like without worrying about trophies or achievements. But
Absolutely.
if you're going for the trophies and achievements, you have to play it a minimum of 4 times. But each of those 4 playthroughs for me felt different enough that I didn't feel like I was,
In the same game.
grinding or anything like that. Except there is one grinding section where you want to get enough points to buy the infinite rocket launcher.
Oh, tell me about it.
Did you do that yourself?
I certainly did. I watched your guide on how to do it efficiently.
Yeah, good. And that's another thing. Yes, I do have a full achievement guide on my YouTube channel, guys. So go check that out if you're going to be playing Resident Evil 3, looking for the achievements or trophies. I don't really have too much else to say on it. We'll talk about it again when we look at some reviews. But
I thought it was a fun trophy in general.
yeah, I think it's a fun completion. I don't agree with some of the negative talk about the game out there. I do agree, though, if Resident Evil 2 Remake was not a thing, Resident Evil 3 Remake would be talked about in Game of the Year discussions. But because
Yeah.
it's not so much of an improvement on number 2 Remake, it's
Yeah.
more of the same, which is not,
Some
in my opinion, is not a criticism.
Yeah,
It's,
some
it's
of the criticisms I feel like they've exaggerated a bit too much. Some are
yeah.
valid, but some I think could exaggerate too much. But anyway,
Okay, more on that a little bit later. What's your second game, Fox?
all right. So my second game I've been playing was Trials of Mana came out on Friday, and in preparation I was playing Secret of Mana, the HD remake on PS4, which I heard so many bad things about because the graphics look like mobile phone graphics. Didn't keep the same the Super Nintendo aesthetic, but playing it, I take that back. I kind of got used to it. I kind of liked it. They added some cool things to it.
I saw
Trophy
on
wise,
your Twitch channel you said one of your titles was you were wrong about the game, I guess.
absolutely completely wrong. And
Yeah.
honestly, I encourage anyone in on this podcast who didn't play it because they thought the graphics are crap and all the bad reviews. It's actually pretty decent. Pretty decent HD remake.
Awesome.
Now, trophies wise,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy. The game is a little because I finished the original Super Nintendo game roughly 20 times in my life. It is actually a bit harder. The AI is a bit dumber, like your partner AI, and the enemies seem just a little bit. They can spam attacks a bit more, so you got to be careful of that. But just all you have to do is just level up a little bit more, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Now, with the trophies though, pretty easy. However, it is a bit of a grind. Haven't got the platinum yet. I'm very close. I just need to get 2 more rare items.
I saw you doing the grind for item
Yeah,
drops.
it was
RN Jesus.
RNGesus. It was not. It was on my side sometimes. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh on some items. Let's just say that.
Oh, so how long are we looking at for that one?
All right, I'm at 25 hours right now. I just need 2 more items, and then I can finish it, and we're done.
And you
So
could have done it a lot quicker if RN Jesus was on your side.
RNG is my side. I probably could have done it in probably 18 hours. Not even joking.
Okay, nice.
But yeah,
And
pretty much all you have to do is just kill every boss guy, get every single item in the game, get every single spell to level 8, get every single weapon to level 9, and visit every area. It's actually pretty. It's like a very easy list. It's just the rare items. Phew.
Okay, yeah, that part would annoy me, but overall the game's still pretty good.
Yeah,
From what I could tell, you were enjoying
it's
it.
a fun. I was having fun.
And also, when did that actually come out? When did Secret of Mana
Actually, let me just
release
look it
on
up. I think,
PS4?
yeah. Let me just look it up now.
And that reminds me, I think RE3. I reckon if you were doing it efficiently, you could probably get through the whole 4 playthroughs in under 8 hours. So pretty easy completion as well.
Secret of Mana 2018, like February
Okay, no worries.
2018.
All right, another game I want to talk about. I want to shed some light when we do this on. We're not going to be just talking about the big releases, and you've got a couple on your list as well, Fox. But I want to talk about a little indie game that I just finished playing called Kona. It's a new game to Xbox Game Pass. It's a bit of a walking sim, so you might not like it, Fox. But it's got survival elements where you have to, keep yourself warm and all that sort of stuff. And there's a bit of a detective element to it.
Okay.
I did just post the final video to my YouTube guide, a full walkthrough over on my YouTube channel.
How long did it take you?
It's probably about 5 hours total.
That's pretty good.
Takes me a bit longer to make the guide because I have to
Yeah.
do a bit of research and practice. But if you are following a guide, it will take you about 5 hours, and that is if you do 2 playthroughs. It is possible to do the whole thing in one playthrough, but there's one achievement that we did the second playthrough for, which is for beating the game without using a vehicle. Now, in the game, you do a lot of driving. You also, spoiler alert, we're not going to go into spoilers, but there is a snowmobile in the game that you can get and use that to get through the game and go and find all the collectibles and stuff like that. But there's an achievement for not using any vehicles. So if you
You know
did
what?
it,
It's kind of ironic. It's a walking simulator, and then you get to use a vehicle, and then they force you to use the
yeah.
walking simulator anyway.
So to go and get all the collectibles, it's much faster to use the vehicles. So I did a first playthrough where we use the vehicles, we go and get all the collectibles, we do everything to 100%. We get to the end of the game, have to do a quick reload of a checkpoint to get 2 missed achievements that you couldn't get on the first run, and then the second run of the game I got in under an hour. So the first run's about 4 hours getting everything, and then the second run with no vehicle, just running straight for the end of the game, basically, literally running.
Running sim this time.
Yeah, is just under an hour, and yeah, the
It's not
videos are
bad
on
at all for a
YouTube.
second playthrough.
Yeah, I think I streamlined it as much as I could, and like you like to say, nice and efficient.
Yeah. All about efficiency.
That's right. But yeah, an enjoyable game actually. It was a bit of a surprise for me. I'd never heard of it until it got announced for Game Pass.
Storyline?
One of the things I love about. To be honest, I didn't really get into the story. I don't get into the story much when I'm making a guide because I'm all about efficiency and trying to be quick. But the story is basically you're a private detective. You've been asked to come to this town to investigate. Not even sure what you're actually sent there to investigate because it's not important. Because when you get there, you find out that the person that has hired you is dead, and it becomes a murder mystery, and you got to figure out. Yeah, it's definitely, and it was made by a small indie team in Canada, and it's based in Canada, not a snowy Canada town. It's really cool looking game as well for a little indie. So definitely recommend it, guys. All right, next game, Fox. Doggerai.
Yeah, so that was my indie game. Literally, I was just watching this YouTube channel I watched for indie releases of the week. I saw on them like it's got my first console ever was a Game Boy, so I'm always a big sucker for that classic green scale graphics that the old Game Boy had. And it looked like a Mega Man clone, so it's like challenging platform. All right, cool. It was actually a lot of fun. So basically, it's similar to Mega Man. You have like the 4 bosses that you got to beat. Once you beat the 4 bosses, you go to the final bad guy's lair, kill him, and yeah, it was pretty cool. It was kind of challenging though, not gonna lie. Let's just say I had to save scum. It was one of the achievements was finish the entire game without dying, and yeah, that was beyond my skill set. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I
But
had
possible
finish
to do if you can save scum.
Sorry? Yeah, you can save scum in that game.
So
Your
possible to get the platinum even if it's a bit beyond your skill level, like you said.
Yeah. So it's yeah. Some of the levels were a bit tricky. Like I could finish the levels without getting hit, but some levels there was some booby traps that just kept getting me no matter what.
Okay.
But yeah, just pretty much you got to finish the game 4 times though. So that is if that's a bit, or you could save scum and do it in 2 goes, but it's a bit complicated. It's just easy. The game is short enough anyway. Most
Yeah, how
just do
long is
4
it?
playthroughs. I reckon about on your first playthrough maybe like an hour, and then your
Okay,
second, third, fourth like 40 minutes. The other character you unlock makes the game so much more quicker. So it was no big deal to me.
nice. And what do you think of the game itself? Like,
I actually it was actually kind of fun. So if you've been itching for like a classic Mega Man game, but like not like the Nintendo Mega Mans or the Super Nintendo Mega Man X, but more like the original Game Boy Mega Man when they re-released the NES ones on Game Boy, it's very similar to that. So
okay.
tough platforming, lots of pitfalls that kill you in one hit, challenging bosses that once you memorize the patterns, like they become easy. So it's kind of rewarding in that way. So yeah, it was
And,
actually came out of nowhere, pretty cheap as well.
and did you say you got the plat?
Platinum,
How,
yes.
how long? How long?
That was about I reckon like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, cool, cool. And
If you try and
Doggerai,
do it, if you try
I'm
and do it in
I'm
2 goes.
still struggling with this. You explained it to me before the show. How do I spell it?
Okay, so you're a samurai,
But you're
dog.
a dog.
You're a doggerai.
Gotcha. Okay, that should
Right?
help
Easy.
everybody. Yep, excellent, excellent.
I didn't
Any
just make out the word. It's called doggerai. Look it up. It's real.
a real
It's
game
real.
apparently. I'll take
It's
your word
real.
for it, Fox. I don't know. Is it on Xbox? That's what I didn't check
Oh, actually, leave me
before
a
we
sec
went
because it was
live.
on because I found it came on PC a year ago. So there's like no guides on it. I found some crappy YouTube video.
Okay.
That I had to let's get some collectible. Give me a second. Doggerai. What do we got?
I know a guy that makes guides. Maybe he should make one for it, but only if it's on Xbox.
What
Someone
do we got
likes
here?
Xbox.
Oh, it's on PS4, Switch, Microsoft Windows, so not Xbox. It's on PC.
Fair enough. All you trophy hunters out there, go have a look at it. I recommend it, even though I haven't
Yeah,
played it. If Fox says so,
I liked it.
cool. All right, moving on. I want to talk about the next game that I've just been streaming over on Twitch most recently, and that is Journey to the Savage Planet. Another game on Game Pass. In fact, oh no, 2 of my 3 games are on Game Pass. Yeah,
So when's
this.
Bill Gates gonna sponsor you?
Yeah, let me know. Phil Spencer's the main one I think that I need to back me. Phil Spencer, I'm going to chat about him a little bit later, but come on, man. Game Pass, the greatest innovation in gaming, and that is me
Pretty damn
speaking.
good.
Hey, I love it. I
I
can't
wish I had game. I wish there was Game Pass on PS4.
exactly. Well, let's not even get into that discussion about PS now. Okay, let's just leave that for another day. But yeah, Journey to the Savage Planet. Now, I don't know if it's because I had been recently playing Near Automata or Tomatoes. I can't remember how to say it. But I needed some color, and boy, does this game have color. Every color, in fact, I'm pretty sure. Every color I've checked, actually. Every color that exists is in this game. Bit of a tough completion, though. Not going to lie. One tip for those that want to play it and complete this game is slap everything. I did not read the achievement list properly until about...
What does this mean?
I'll get to it. So about 3/4 of the way through the game, I discovered that there's an achievement for slapping. Yes, slapping. So X button, slapping every single enemy in the game. And it includes bosses. So you need to go up nice and close and get a slap on the bosses. Now, I'd already beaten a few of the bosses. I had not slapped them. And I couldn't go back and slap them again, so I'd have to slap them on another playthrough. I do need to do another playthrough. It is the speed run for beating the game in under 4 hours. So if and when I get to that run, I'll be slapping all the bosses. It should count everything I've already slapped, so I should only have to slap the enemies that I haven't already slapped. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be anything really missable. Once you get to the end game, you can then free roam basically. As long as to really get the proper ending of the game, you have to go back to your ship that you start in and you have to take off and go back to Earth. Once you do that, you can't go back. So don't do that until you've got everything. Fairly lengthy completion. I'd say at least 20 hours roughly. Maybe a bit less, depending on how you go. I found all the collectibles mostly blind. We were looking up a few things on stream, having chat help me, but there's some really tricky collectibles to find in that one as well. Overall, great game. Glad I played it. Has some co-op achievements. It's fun playing in co-op as well. So yeah, a lot of fun. But that's about all I've really got to say on that one. I'm not going to be doing the speed run straight away. I think I'll come back to it later if I get a chance. All right.
But besides the achievements, though, how's the game anyway? Is it pretty good?
Lots of fun. I had a lot of fun with that game. It's got like so many games mixed into one. Don't be fooled, guys. If you are looking at the game, it is not a first-person shooter. Obviously, you're in first person and you have a gun. The gun is secondary, guys. Do not think that this is some silly. A lot of people, when they first saw me play it, thought, "Oh, this is like Borderlands." It is nothing like Borderlands, other than maybe a
That's a
slight
good thing.
resemblance in the art style, slightly. But it is not a shooter. It's not a looter. It's a survival exploration game, and
Okay.
and a lot of fun. Give it a go. Give it a go. Definitely. All right. Any further questions on that, Fox?
No, no, no. You've covered the game. I did see it on PS4 when it first came out. I was thinking about playing it, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll save it for later. But I might give it a crack now.
It's a lot of
So
fun. It's definitely very different. I find it really, really hard to
I can see your
compare it.
brain trying to turn the cog to describe it. What's going on?
Okay. Moving on. I want to talk about some news now. Generally, this time of year, it's pretty slow for news as there's not a lot of big releases coming out. A lot of news outlets are slowing down, waiting for all the big news to drop at E3. But of course, that's cancelled this year. So I've done my best to pick out a couple of news stories that I've seen over the last couple of days. One that piqued my interest, of course, is the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, has hinted at a possible Xbox event in May, or at least
Okay.
there's some rumors about an event in May. But Phil Spencer, if you don't already know, he's the head of Xbox over at Microsoft. And he was recently asked by Twitter follower Woggerman1974 how he felt about new game reveals for the Xbox Series X and how planning was coming along. The Xbox boss replied saying that plans had been reviewed and he's never been more excited. And he goes on to say that game reveals won't be too much of a wait. Thoughts, Fox? Thoughts on that? Are you
Uh,
excited? Being
I
a
don't know.
PlayStation man?
Hey,
What?
look, hey, as long as there's new games coming out and it brings creates competition, I'm all up for that. As Microsoft
Do
have
you
been doing
think?
some big moves,
I
big
guess what
moves.
I mean is, do you think? I mean, there's been a lot of news over the past couple of months about the consoles themselves, PS5 and
Hmm.
Xbox Series X, but what we're all waiting for is games. Am I right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I can't wait for the exclusives. I'm actually looking for. I hope like Xbox steps up and makes some cool exclusives for the
Yeah.
next generation.
And this tweet that he sent out did start some rumor mills, and there
Yeah.
is a big rumor. I can't confirm it or anything, but of an event in May where they're going to announce some more games for the Xbox Series X. I assume PlayStation will be doing the same thing soon because we don't know any launch titles or release games
Or even price.
for PS5 yet, do we? Oh
No,
yeah,
nothing yet.
price and all that. That's a whole nother story, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually excited to see if they do an event in May. I want to see more of the Hellblade sequel. I want to see a little bit more from Halo Infinite. I want to know what that's all about. I want to
Hmm.
know what direction they're taking that game in with all the multiplayer stuff these days. I'm a bit worried that they're not going to be. It's not going to be a story focused game, but yeah, excited to see what happens with that. And
I wouldn't be too
obviously,
concerned.
no, yeah,
Halo, Halo's like one of those first-person shooters we can always respect. They always do care about the storyline, and the multiplayer is a big part of it. But it is Master Chief's story after all.
yeah, I hope so.
There'd be no Halo multiplayer without Master Chief doing
Correct.
some Covenant.
Correct. And then I'm also excited to see what they announce from all their other studios that they have working on games. Bit of a side note, I did see a feature recently on Grounded. Have you heard of that game?
No, not at all. Let me look it up now.
Well, that's going to be an Xbox exclusive. Sorry, I didn't have this in the show notes. This just came to me off the top of my head. But
That's okay.
that looks really cool. That's the game where you're playing. It's a bit of a co-op game, but you're four kids that have been shrunk down. Apparently, you're 1 centimeter tall,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
you're in
Like
the
only like a
backyard.
shrunken kids.
Correct. Yeah, a lot like that
Yeah.
premise, and it's like a survival game where you've got to work together and build defenses. And I've heard it reminded me of Monster Hunter, but in a good way, because I've heard that you go and hunt large bugs, and you get their exoskeleton, and you use it to craft armor, and you get
Yeah.
stronger bugs making stronger armor, and and use that to protect yourself. But
That's cool. It's made by Obsidian as well.
exactly, yeah, Obsidian, known for their RPGs. This is not an RPG, but I'm excited to see that. It comes into, I think it's July the 28th. It's going to be in early access, sort of, what do they call that? Pre-release sort of thing.
Yeah, early access, give it a bug testing.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm excited about that. The next news item I wanted to talk about is I wanted to purposely not talk too much about the pandemic that's going on right now, but I do think that it's linked into this next story, which is that spending on digital games has hit 10 billion, or did hit $10 billion in March.
That is...
It's an insane number. It's a record for spending on digital games, as far as I'm aware. Now, I've just got a little bit of a quote. I got some information from superdataresearch.com. I'm going to read a quote from them. Spending on digital games reached $10 billion in March, the highest monthly total ever. Individuals are turning to games as a reliable entertainment option during the COVID-19 crisis and are using online multiplayer to keep in touch with others. Total digital revenue was up 11% year over year from March 2019. So everybody's staying at home, Fox. Everybody's staying at home as we have to. You haven't got much of a choice. And what
things we've been staying home since for the last 5 years. They finally got to our level now.
It's like when this whole quarantine concept came out. I was like, what do you mean quarantine? You mean my normal life?
A normal weekend.
Yeah.
I know. I laughed, man. Yeah, I laughed when this quarantine stuff started. I was like, I just stay home, play video games anyway. This is just, I need to leave the house to go to work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are definitely hindrances, and I don't want to make too much of light of the whole situation. You know, people losing loved ones and people losing their jobs and all of that. So we definitely do care a lot about that, guys. But this show is not focused on that. A couple of other key stats from that, and we were talking about it just before, Fox, is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Sold more digital units in a single month, 5 million units sold, than any console game in history.
Insane. That's all I have to say. Absolutely insane.
We're talking more than Call of Duty, any Call of Duty.
Grand Theft Auto.
More than Grand Theft Auto. It sold the most single digital we're talking, digital units in a single month, more than any console game in history. I'm shocked by it. I couldn't care less about Animal Crossing. Sorry if that turns off a few viewers. It's just not a game for me. Doesn't interest me one little bit. Is that because it's not an Xbox? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I would enjoy it even if it was on my platform.
Well, my thing is just like, I remember I went to EB Games to pick up Doom Eternal because that came in the same day Animal Crossing did. All Switches were sold out. There were no physical copies of Animal Crossing to pick up. So you had to buy it online at that time.
Yeah. And I mean, adding to the whole digital sales thing is the fact that people are stuck at home and can't go to the shop and get the physical copy as well.
And I find because there've been a lot of people who, I guess, aren't used to this whole situation we're in now. They've probably never played video game their entire life. They probably go, what is an easy casual game I can get, just give it a try? And I guess Animal Crossing is probably a good stepping stone, I guess, to the world.
I suppose it doesn't have a huge difficulty spike, does it?
There is no difficulty spike.
Exactly.
Except for basic economics of selling turnips.
And speaking of Doom Eternal, though, it also did very well. It sold 3 million digital units in March. When you think of the highest ever being 5 million, and it has sold 3 million, that's pretty damn good as well.
I'm so happy for them as well. id Software did a great job in that sequel.
Yeah, it sold more than 3 times what Doom 2016 sold in the same time period, which was just under 1 million. Do you think, another sort of tangent, but do you think that Doom Eternal really is that much better than Doom 2016?
It's hard. It's a weird thing to talk about, but it is. I think that whole added the. I found that the monsters. Because I felt like the game almost like a puzzle to play, especially on the harder difficulties. Like you go into the combat scenario, and you can't just stand back and shoot. Like you've got to actually think with your brain. You got to go.
You really do. Yeah, you're right.
I can use this gun for that monster. I can use that gun for that monster. Oh shit! I'm out of armor. Better use the flamethrower. Better use the ice grenade to slow down this. That thing's on cooldown now. I got to go that.
Chainsaw. Don't forget the chainsaw.
If you get that chainsaw, you're gonna get your ammo back. There's just so many layers to that game, and the
But
levels are really tough.
do you think everything you just said could have applied to 2016 as well?
I'm talking about all the improvements to 2016 because the 2016 had the flamethrower. You didn't have the double dash. You didn't have the
Right.
double jump. So
Okay.
that's like a whole extra set of
It
movements.
definitely added a lot of traversal and even platforming elements.
Hmm. And
Definitely
then
did that.
and some of the new monsters as well, like change it up a little bit as well. It was actually cool because I've played Doom since the first game, and they've always reused the same monsters from Doom all the way to 2016. They've never added like a brand new monster, except for sometimes a new boss here and there. They actually added a few new monsters. That kind of like,
Before we get slaughtered in the comments, he means demons, not monsters. Just
oh yeah, sorry, Demon. They're from hell. Yeah, right.
just trying to save us, mate.
All right. But yeah, yeah, it changed it up, and like I love Doom 2016. It's one of my favorite ever first-person shooters ever made, and Doom Eternal, like it's hard to describe, but it was a better game. Even though it
Okay.
is effectively the same game, but just those little tweaks made it a better game. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm not as sold on that as you. I loved the game. I just wasn't. I'm not as. I don't think it made as many improvements on 2016. Now, I did just play 2016 this year. Was it this year or the end
Yeah,
of last year?
you played about a month before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to refresh my memory. I didn't play it back in 2016, so played it and enjoyed both though. Definitely both are really really great games. Now the next bit, something you told me about, and again we do like indie games. Both Fox and I are big supporters of indie games,
Mm.
and Gris
So the big 1 million
sold
copies.
over 1 million copies since
That is
release.
huge. Like that is big for an indie developer, and that's also another Devolver Digital published game. That's
What
big
is
moves for
Gris for
them.
those that don't know, Fox? Putting you on the
So
spot here.
Gris is a platform where you play as a girl. Now the art style is watercolor. So if you ever seen like those classic watercolor pictures, that's what it looks like. Basically, it's like one of those metaphorical games. There's no talking in it. Basically, it's about a girl, I guess, suffering through the stages of sorrow and grief. And the gris is, I think it's Spanish for gray. So the game has that, I guess, that gray emotion of feeling lonely and not with her. And there's a couple of like monsters that chase after, which obviously represents things. I don't want to go into too much to spoil it because I guess everyone has a different experience of when they play it because they might, if if you're feeling, I guess, sad or something, you might feel something playing it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool game. Pretty cool game. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed. 1 million copies.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Definitely want more and more. The more we see more indies selling big copies, the more awesome indie titles we're going to get.
Yeah, and I feel yeah, if more indie games sell bigger titles, I guess maybe AAA developers might go, oh, these guys are selling big bucks, and they don't obviously their games aren't that big. They're not indie games don't cost as much to make, and plus the marketing budget way less. Who knows? Maybe my AAA games might have to change up the formula a little bit to try and shake it up a bit.
Excellent. All right, now some news that just dropped before we went live. Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to Xbox Game Pass. We already know how much I love Xbox Game Pass. Is this important, Fox?
That's a pretty big deal because that's Rockstar doesn't give away their games for free very often.
Hmm.
They know they can get away with selling games for big money.
Yeah, exactly. They make a lot of money still on GTA sales. So,
Yeah.
is this a sign that Red Dead not making much money? I'm sure Microsoft or Xbox paid them a fair whack of money to get this on Game
Mm.
Pass. So there's that side of it. What does it mean for Red Dead and Rockstar and all of that? But also, what does it mean for Game Pass if we're getting a big game like this? I'm pretty excited about it. I'm hoping my Red Dead Redemption full 100% walkthrough on YouTube gets a bit of a spike in
And I
views
and
when
I
this
can't
hits Game
believe that you
Pass.
did 100% that game. That is a big task, that game.
Well, it took me 500 hours
Yeah.
to make the guide that I've got on Red Dead. That was back. I started making that back when I had just got my bone condition and I wasn't working and I didn't stream on Twitch. I had a lot of time on my hands sitting at home recovering. So I spent it all making my Red Dead Redemption 2 guide, and it just the single player. I didn't touch online. It is just the 100% of single player. I'll tell you what, I spent hours and hours basically camping out, waiting for different animals to spawn to
I've heard the
learn
animal sports are bad.
to learn where they spawn so that I could tell you guys about it in my videos. It took a long time. but it was definitely my game of the year 2018. I love that game, and it's exciting that it's coming to Game Pass. For anyone that's missed out on it, look out for it on Game Pass big time.
I wonder, with Red Dead Redemption 2 coming to Game Pass, and it's not that old as well. It's only what, 2 years old.
2018, yeah, yep.
Yeah, 2018, end of 2018 as well. Yeah, I wonder if more bigger titles like that were going to come to Game Pass, because that's a huge title.
Yeah, you can't get much bigger really in the last couple of years.
I'm pretty sure the game's still $100 Australian online if you want to purchase it. So.
Really? Yeah, okay. So it's still a full price game, but yeah, it won't be getting many sales in the next. You wouldn't want to buy it right now if you're an Xbox gamer. That's for sure. Just wait for it to come to Game Pass. All right. Now, a segment that I want to have in this show is I want to just I want to get you to read out, Fox, if you can, the releases.
Sure, I can do that
are coming. We've got the May releases here now. Depending on how this show is produced and when I can get it up on the channel, some of these games may have already come out, but we're hoping to have the show go live by the start of May. But yeah, let's go through this list and we'll stop and talk about any games that we might or might not know about.
Yeah, and forgive me, guys. Some of these games, I know some of these games I might have to quickly look up just on the spot. So
well, if we don't know about them, Fox, the way I want to do this, if we don't know about them, we'll just breeze past them. So read them out, sure. But it's just about giving any of them a little bit of recognition anyway.
All right, so first one is Arcade Spirits, which is a romantic visual novel. What are your thoughts about that, Aussie Gamer?
Don't care. What date does it come out? And go to the next one.
May 1st. All
okay.
Right, next we got John Wick Hex. Is that based on the John Wick films? May 5th.
I actually don't know, and there's a reason for that because of my biases. It doesn't come to Xbox. It's PlayStation 4 only.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that. PS4 exclusive. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so...
and then May 7th, so here's an Xbox game that's coming to PS4 and Switch, Void Bastards. And that game is looks pretty cool. And you played it, Aussie. What do you think of it?
It has an awesome art style. I didn't actually get into the game, but it got heavily reviewed well. It reviewed well, basically. Cool game, cool, very, very cool art style and cool concept. I can't remember what it was that drew me away from it. Something else may have come out. I did start it, but I never finished it.
Yeah. Next game, May 7th on PC only, Wavy the Rocket. Don't know.
No idea.
Me neither. All right, next one. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, PS4 and Switch, May 12th. And I did double check, it is the Nintendo 64 game.
It is. So it's a port?
It's a port.
Do you know what's wrong with this picture? Star Wars game coming out on May the 12th.
Yeah,
What are they doing? What are they doing?
Too late.
It's 8 days late.
They had one job.
One job. Exactly.
One job. May the 4th.
Exactly. All right, next one.
Best Friend Forever, Switch, PC, and an Apple as well. May 14th.
Never heard of it.
Me neither. Those Who Remain, PS4 exclusives, May 15th.
Never heard of it.
All right, next one, Man Eater, PS4, Xbox, and Switch, and PC, May 22nd.
Definitely have heard of this one. This one looks cool. I haven't seen a price for it yet because I haven't looked it up. If it's not too expensive, if it's not a full price game, I'm going to think about picking it up just to have a bit of a go of it on Twitch. I might stream this one. You're a shark, and I believe the objective is to eat as many humans as you can.
Really, with a name like Man Eater, I thought you got to do the tax returns or something.
Are you going to play it, Fox?
I might. Depends. I've got a busy May month coming up, so
all right.
I'm gonna go back to finish Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Okay. Priorities.
Next we've got Saints Row the Third remastered, PS4, Xbox, and PC, May 22nd.
Good game. I liked Saints Row the Third. I don't think I'll go back to it, but I did like it. I liked this way better than when they were sort of getting sillier and sillier and sillier. And then 4 is the roof of silliness, but 3 was not quite as silly, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, because I actually bought Saints Row 1 when it was an Xbox 360 exclusive, day one back in the day. I absolutely loved the first game. The second game was pretty cool too. I might give it a crack, actually.
So you haven't played the third one? You stopped?
Only like for an hour on PS3, and then I was like, And then 3 hours, 3-4 years later, it's coming on PS4. I'm like, I guess I'll play on PS4 now.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, next one, Sword Art Online. Now, I can't read that subtitle. on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, May 22nd. So that's an anime game. I haven't played the Sword
I
Art
know.
series
Yeah, I
yet.
know nothing about the Sword Art series.
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit, but skip that.
I am excited for
Um,
this next one, believe it or
yeah.
not.
All right, Minecraft Dungeons, PS4, Xbox, Switch, PC, May 22nd.
26th, I think.
Oh, May, sorry, 26,
Yep,
correct, yes.
yep, yep. Now, I cannot stand Minecraft. I've
Yeah.
not played much of Minecraft, but it is not a game for me. Again, I'm probably going to lose viewers saying that, but it's just my opinion. I can see why people like it. I can see why people get addicted to it, which is a thing. But I am looking forward to trying some Minecraft dungeons. A little bit different, bit of a co-op dungeon crawler.
Got a bit of a story. It's got more of a, I guess, a plot to it.
Yeah,
A story.
it's a game with a well, it looks to me from the outside looking in like it has a beginning and an end, which is
Yeah.
something that suits my brain a lot better. I think that's why I don't like things like Minecraft. I need something finite that has
Yeah.
an end or a goal.
Yeah. Well, there is actually an ending in Minecraft, believe it or not.
You're kidding me.
I know there is. There's a dragon you can find in the original Minecraft. If you kill him, the credits roll.
I did not want to know this.
You're all good. You're
Now
all
I have
good.
now I have to play it.
All right.
But yes,
Next one.
look forward to that on my channel as well. I'll be covering Minecraft for sure.
All right.
Dungeons,
So we've
Minecraft
got
dungeons.
Minecraft Dungeons. All right. We got Ninjala on Switch, May 28th. Haven't heard of that one. What about you?
Nah, me either. Is that like no? That Ninjago is what it reminds me of, which is
Yeah,
that
I thought it was like
Lego
the Lego
thing.
game. Yeah.
But this is something different, I think.
All right. Next one we got
More
the Bioshock.
remasters coming.
Yeah, we got Bioshock Collection. This is on Switch now, finally.
Oh, okay. So that's the big thing that it's coming to Switch, right?
May 29th. Yeah, because we've already had an Xbox and PS4 for a while now.
Well, if you haven't played it and you've got a Switch, I'd definitely recommend picking that one up.
Yeah, it's a good value for money. Three pretty decent games as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got next is Borderlands Legendary Collection on Switch. So I believe that's all three of them, or just what's the Switch version?
Legendary Collection would. I don't know if that has. It surely wouldn't have the third one in it.
Oh,
It'd
I
have.
don't know.
So the Borderlands pack on Xbox, for example, has
Yeah, it's just
Borderlands
one-
1 and 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel. So
Yeah.
it'll have those on it. Anyway, it's not important. Next,
Next, we've got here XCOM 2. That's coming on Switch.
that is
You
a
ever played the
P-
original XCOM?
I played XCOM 1 or dabbled in it a little bit. Not a game for me, but it's a PC tactics game, and it's coming
Yeah,
to Switch.
But I guess because of the portability, it's easy to play it on the go. I only played the original XCOM on PC. I haven't even played the newer ones.
Yeah, me either.
All right, next we've got. So that was May 29th, sorry guys. And
Yeah.
then Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So that's the Wii game remade onto Switch, May 29th.
Okay. And have you played that?
No, that's sitting in my to-do pile for a very, very long time. So
Okay.
maybe one day when I'm retired, I can finally play it.
Now, all right, that is the May releases that we've got at the moment. Feel free to let us know if we've missed any in the comments down below, guys. Now, I want to move on to Game Pass releases. Now, I haven't got anything really coming up that hasn't already been announced, as in there's no new announcements at the time of this recording. We do have a game called Gato Roboto that just hit hit Game Pass the other day. YouTube's in my mind because I am working on a guide for the game for my YouTube channel. But it is a cool little art style, a lot like the old Game Boy stuff that you were talking about before. You can even get
Yeah, it's monochromatic.
yeah, you can even get little cartridges. They're the collectibles in the game that change that color scheme, and there's one that looks very, very similar to the old Game Boy screen. But yeah, definitely recommend checking that out. And like I said, I've got a guide coming for that as well. Some really tricky parts to that game. I'm not even sure if I'll be able to get the 1 hour speed run achievement, let alone make a guide for it. So we'll wait and see on that.
I played Gato Roboto on the Switch because I was like, yeah, I have to play this. It was one of my favorite indie games of last year, actually.
Oh, so you've actually played it, Fox?
Yeah, I finished it on stream. I loved it.
Oh,
Absolutely
nice.
loved it.
Very cool.
And next Game Pass game, we got Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah, that has just hit Game Pass as well. I am still probably only halfway through Yakuza 0 since that hit Game Pass.
A long series.
They are huge games. I was hoping to finish Yakuza 0 so that I could stream some Yakuza Kiwami when it hit Game Pass, but I don't want to start Kiwami when I haven't finished Zero. I'm actually really enjoying the story, and I don't want to start another story when I haven't finished Zero. So,
I like
but it's kind of cool. Again, Game Pass getting some really cool games.
yeah, and it's kind of, also kind of like Yakuza because it's kind of like Godfather, but like with Yakuza on
Yeah,
console with a long storyline because all the timelines connect. Pretty
it's
epic.
very very cool. I'm not giving up on Zero. I'm playing it in my own spare time that I don't really have at the moment, but
Tell me about it.
I'll definitely get through it when I can. And then,
And
yeah,
this
you
one,
go, you go.
Deliver Us the Moon.
Do
I
you know?
haven't
Do you
heard
know
of.
this one?
No, not at all. Tell me about it.
So it just hit Game Pass on the 24th of April, I believe. Um, I don't know a lot about it yet. I'm actually going to be streaming it later on today at the end of this recording. I've got the game downloaded, ready to go. It is a space exploration game. I don't know a lot about it. I'll know a bit more later on today.
Looking up right now.
It definitely, I was going to say, what it reminds me of is things like Tacoma. You remember that game?
Yeah, I remember Tacoma.
I don't believe it has a lot of like enemies or combat and stuff like that, but I do believe it's something to do with being stuck in space. It's got a really cool look to it, so I'm looking forward to checking that one out. The next one, Fox, we're both excited for.
Oh man, I can't wait. Can't wait. Streets of Rage 4, April 30th. And I'm so jealous that you get to play for free and I gotta pay for it on
Yes,
PS4.
it's coming, releasing on Game Pass on Xbox, guys. So,
What a good game to be released on Game Pass too. Well, I hope it's awesome. I hope it's awesome.
yeah, I'm hoping it is too.
Yeah, I'm a huge Streets of Rage fan. I love the trilogy. Even got the vinyl soundtracks as well. Love the game. So I finished them so many times as a kid
Awesome.
and as an adult.
Nice, nice. I'm looking forward to it so much. Yeah, I'll be streaming that as soon as it hits on April 30th at midnight. At midnight on the 29th. I'll
We
be
love those midnight streams, Aussie Game. We love them.
yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Okay, now moving on. At the time of this recording, we don't have the Games with Gold or the PS Plus announcements for May at the time of the recording. Now, if those announcements do happen in the next couple of days and I can get them into this video before the video goes live, then I will. Fox, you're happy to record about 10 minutes for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Once we get some PS Plus
Yeah,
news,
so if that does happen before this video goes live, guys, we will go over what games are coming to Games with Gold and PS Plus, whether or not we've completed them, got the plats or whatever, what we can expect, achievements and trophies wise, that sort of thing. But for now, we don't know what's coming in May.
future's uncertain so far.
Yeah. Okay, and moving on from that, let me just have a quick drink. Got to look after the voice, Fox.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I want to do a bit of a segment here where I look back on some games that have released over the last month or the last couple of weeks, depending on when we record the episodes, and chat about the reviews and things like that. A game that just released, was it yesterday, Fox?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Trials of Mana, and you've already been streaming it.
Yes, I have.
First of all, I see that I just had a quick check on Metacritic. It's sitting at a 76 at the time of this recording. Some of the bigger, outlets, IGN gave it an 80, GameSpot gave it a 60, so there's a bit of a gap there. What is your thoughts on the game so far?
Yeah, so I've actually played the original. Original was called Seiken Densetsu 3. It was only ever came out in Japan on Super Nintendo. As a kid back in the day, I did play it on emulator with a translation patch, so I did finish it. I was a big fan of Secret of Mana. It's pretty good. It's pretty faithful to the original Super Nintendo game. So basically you can tell that they've made like the game. They've converted like the cities and everything into 3D. So it's kind of like you can kind of like see. I kind of still remember the maps as well as I'm playing. I'm like, oh, I remember this bit. I remember this bit. You can see like the cameras moved around. So it's very faithful to the original game. Same bosses, same everything. So it's no surprise to me. I've already played the game, I guess in theory. But so far I'm enjoying the game. It's definitely they did a different job because I was expecting. So with the Secret of Mana HD remake, they kept the game same as the Super Nintendo game where the camera was aiming down It's still top down with a slight angle, so you can pop enemies and move in a grid, I guess, in a grid pattern, kill enemies. Whereas in Trials of Mana, they've actually made the combat more 3D, so you can lock onto enemies, dodge out the way. You can still use items in that. It's been pretty fun. Voice acting's pretty good. My best thing about the game though, it's got the Japanese and English voices, plus has the original Super Nintendo soundtrack, which is glorious as it always is. Yeah, 76 Metacritic. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but still a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it. The graphics are colorful as well.
And that reminds me of something. 76, even we just did it just now. You look at 76 and you might think not a good game.
Yeah,
76 is a good game.
Yeah, it is. I get in arguments with people all the time. I've played 5s out of 10s that I still think I recommend it to people. I remember 76 is still I guess a distinction in university.
But even if you were rating the game and you gave it a 76,
yeah,
that does not mean you're saying it's a bad game. Am I right?
Oh, it's still great.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah, I'd play a 76. I'd love to play a 76.
Definitely better than Fallout 76.
Hey, good one. Set that one up for you.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, 100%. And how far in are you?
Not very far. I've only just killed 2 bosses in about 4.5 hours. I don't remember how long the original Super Nintendo game was. I think it's about 25 hours. They haven't padded it out like Final Fantasy VII, so I've got a feeling it's going to probably maybe a few hours longer.
Okay.
I've heard that when you replay the game again, which is a cool. I hope that the rumors are right. That when you replay it again, you get to level up faster, so you can, because you actually got to finish it 3 times to get the platinum trophy.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to replaying again, and with the extra turbo of leveling up quicker, that's awesome. I love when games add that feature in.
Awesome. Yep. Especially a lot of those old JRPGs seem to do that a lot, don't they?
Yeah. Well, turbo functions it does save a lot of time.
I automatically think when a game has that built into it, I think, well, doesn't that say the game's not good? If you need to speed it up, shouldn't it be at a good pace already?
I guess my argument is some people like grinding, and then some people like me, they just they work full time. I'm happy to kill an enemy once or twice, but after the 10th time, like,
that's a good point of view. Having different options for different people and their different lifestyles and play styles. Yeah, I feel that.
And like for me, like I guess, and I like how the game that once. Well, I hope the rooms are correct. Once you finish the game, then when you replay it, you get 2 times experience points. So you don't need to spend so much time in the earlier areas. I think
Even better when they do it on a second or third playthrough.
Because the game is forced that because it's got 6 separate characters, so you got to finish the game with, and there's 3 separate final bosses. So you got to, depending on who you pick as the main character, is the different final boss. So it's good for trophy hunting and good for replayability as well.
Yep, that's good. Awesome. All right. Any final words on that for now? You're going to be still streaming that?
Yeah, I'll be streaming that for the next week or so until I finish it. I'm actually looking forward to getting back into it.
Awesome. You'll be playing that later tonight as we record this, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
All right, now I do want to talk about a couple of games that did come out earlier in the month as we record this, but I still think they are, well, definitely they are 2 games. We've already mentioned them a couple of times during this during the podcast, but Resident Evil 3
yes,
is a very, as I said earlier, a divisive game when it comes to reviews, to people's thoughts on the game. It is sitting at a 77, so super close to what Trials of Mana is, but Trials of Mana is super early days for that one. IGN, for example, gave it a 90, but then you've got someone like GameSpot giving it a 60. I did have a look at GameSpot's review, and they seem to be critical of it for... again, for its length. Another big criticism of the game has been the use of Nemesis and comparing Nemesis to Mr. X. Now, I want to point out that a lot of the criticisms out there in relation to Nemesis versus Mr. X or the Tyrant, whatever you want to call it, in Resident Evil 2 are pretty incorrect. I've looked at a lot of reviews for this game, and I can tell by looking at the reviews that 1 or 2 things happen, or both of these things happen. And number 1 would be that the reviewers rushed through either Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, actually, to do their reviews, and do not really understand how the Tyrant or Mr. X or Nemesis really works in either game, because a lot of the criticisms have been that the Nemesis feels completely scripted and isn't random, and these reviews then mention as opposed to the Tyrant being random.
It's Mr. X is scripted Resident Evil 2.
He was completely scripted in Resident Evil 2.
Yes.
Again, I've done a lot of plugging my YouTube channel, but I did a full guide for Resident Evil 2, and
I finished it multiple times as well.
yeah, you can make, you know exactly, once you've played it a couple of times, you know exactly when Mr. X is going to appear. Exactly. It is not random. It is scripted. It can depend on certain story elements that you have or have not done. So if you haven't done them, he might not show up. If you have done them, you could be running down the same corridor and there's different scenarios where he will or won't show up, but they are scripted, definitely. So it's not a valid criticism to compare Nemesis to Mr. X. It's something that I find really, really strange about this particular game, that people... and let's say a brand new game comes out that doesn't have any prequels or anything like that, and you review it. You are not reviewing it and always comparing it to this one other game that came out a year ago. I don't know why people have done that with the reviews of Resident Evil 3. They're just... Every criticism I've seen on Resident Evil 3, almost everyone, basically names Resident Evil 2 as a comparison and why they're criticizing it. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
it is a sequel, so it does have something compared to. And I could talk about God of War 4 and the trilogy as well, but that's another story.
yeah. I don't know if it's fair to criticize a game that way, but it could just be my opinion.
Like my thing is when I played it, and I went into it hearing about these bad reviews, I was like, oh, okay. I played it. I really liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. I found it though that my feelings were the beginning of the game was really exciting. Like not the police station, sorry, the city streets were really fun. Then I thought the sewers were a bit too simple, and then like the final laboratory was like a bit simple as well. Whereas like Resident Evil 2, I actually kind of get sick of the police station, but I find like the sewers and then the laboratory then was a lot more fun. It's
Okay.
like a reverse fun factor. Whereas Nemesis I find is awesome, and then it kind of like goes to like, I don't know. I'm not going to call it bad because people are going to exaggerate it. I might say it's still like less than good. I don't know.
Well, still good, just not as good, maybe.
Yeah, not as good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now in regards to the length of the game, yes and no. It kind of sucks they did take, because I did play the original 3 back in the day. Kind of sucks they took out the worm boss and the whole clock tower bit.
Yeah.
I wonder if they had that section in the game, so maybe effectively making the game an hour longer. Maybe one of the reviews would have been then.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think obviously they were pushed for time. They wanted to get it out a year after 2 remake. They also added the multiplayer that I'm not really going to talk about much. What is it? Resident Evil Resistance?
No one's even streaming it on Twitch. So what does that say?
Yeah, I don't think it was that good, but obviously that took a bit of time away from them making the single player part of the game. The length, again, like I touched on before, I don't think it's... Yes, that is a valid thing that they've taken things out from the original. That's something I can't comment on because I, for reasons that I won't go into here, but didn't play the original because I was a scared little child, basically. But the length still, I don't find a valid criticism. I would rather, even if it was just one playthrough, the first playthrough that I did of the game was, 6 hours, and it was awesome. I would rather 6 hours of awesome than maybe if they padded it out to a 10-hour game, but 4 of those hours were boring. Do you know what I mean? So I have no... I mean, we talked about some indie games earlier. I mean, obviously they're a bit cheaper, so there's that to take into account. But some indie games are an hour, 2 hours long, and they're fun, and I don't criticize them for length. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of price. Should price come into that, though?
Length is a really interesting argument because some games are short and no one picks on it, but then other games get picked on it. So,
is it because of price? Do you think?
I don't know. Like, my friend was gonna say I'm gonna lend him my copy of Resident Evil 3, right? And he said, "Oh, I heard it's short and this and that." I'm like, "I'm giving it to you for free." And like, if you're gonna play as a free game, you're gonna think it's like the best free game you ever played in your entire life.
Exactly. That's a good point. That's a pretty good point. He's getting it for free, and he's like, "Oh, but it's a bit short."
But who cares?
It's like
Awesome game.
hey, there's a brand new movie coming out. It's awesome. It only goes for 2 hours, but you can come and watch it for free. Oh, only two. Like,
I know. I wonder if Resident Evil 3 was maybe, I guess, 60 Australian dollars retail, if it would have changed people's opinions, because then it would feel like an expansion pack price. I don't know.
I think that's why they don't price. That's one of the reasons why they wouldn't price it at a lower rate, because people would then think maybe it's DLC, maybe it's just
Yeah.
and wouldn't give it the time of day, because some people won't buy those lesser value
Yeah,
games.
I know. I think it's a big problem in the gaming industry, that whole value for money
But then again,
mentality when it comes to gaming.
and then we're talking about the length of the game without mentioning the fact that you can
The
actually
replayer.
the replayability of it.
Yeah.
Playing the
I
game the first time through, worrying about your inventory, worrying about your ammo and all that is a completely different experience to when you, after you've beaten the game, you get access to the store where you can use in-game money, not real world money, in-game, I guess, credits that you've earned, and you can buy things like an infinite SMG or the infinite rocket launcher once you've saved up enough. And playing through the game a second or third time with an infinite weapon or whatever it might be completely changes the game. You're playing a new game at that point, and it adds an extra playthrough of game time to what's apparently a short game.
And like for me as well, I finished the game on baby mode first, so I got all the collectibles, and I was like, because I'm not a big fan of getting collectibles in game anyway, so I just replayed it again just for fun on normal mode and I just played it just for fun, and I was like, this is awesome. And
Exactly.
then I replayed it again with the Infinite Rocket Launcher, and then I replayed it again on the hardest difficulty for the trophy, so I still spent 20 hours on it.
Mm. I
So
actually
fun.
looked at my game. The last time I remember looking at my game clock, I actually spent over 40 hours in that game. I beat it. I
How'd you
think
do that with such a short game?
exactly, and I had fun for all of it. I mean, obviously, I'm a bit of a different example because I played it through practice runs and things for my
Of course.
guides and stuff like that. I think I beat it 10 or 12 times, something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But even doing that, I enjoyed I enjoyed my time with it the whole time,
yeah.
and I got
I had
a
fun.
hell of a lot out of it.
Like, I guess my final point is it's not better than Resident Evil 2,
No,
um, but
I agree.
it's still good. If I got a feeling maybe it had less criticism if it was maybe just 1 hour longer, maybe, or maybe 2 hours long. I got a feeling people would be a lot lenient on it.
I
Like I
agree
did,
with that it would have less criticism, but I still don't agree with the criticism.
yeah. And
Mm,
like I kind of, I guess Resident Evil 2, because I actually never played Resident Evil 2 as a kid. And so when I actually played the original Resident Evil 2, maybe 6 months before the remake came out, I played it. I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool. I really liked it. And then replaying the remake, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty awesome. And then they added like the whole sequence with the gun store owner, which I think is like the cherry on the top of that game. That scene is so beautiful.
mm.
I don't want to ruin for people who haven't played it, but I think that
Yep,
scene is like my
yep,
favorite bit in the entire
yeah. We
game.
won't go into spoilers, that's for sure.
And then fleshed out Ada Wong a little bit more. So like it's kind of like with Resident Evil 2, they got the original game and added to it, but not
Mm.
padded it out like Final Fantasy remake. And so like Resident Evil 2 is like, I think is like the definition of like, if you're gonna remake a game, if your game's not as good as Resident Evil 2 remake, just chuck it in the bin. Honestly, just try again. Resident
Chuck it
now,
in the bin.
Chuck it in the bin. Resident Evil 3, I guess, and I have played the original Resident Evil 3. I still think it's good. I, it kind of sucks they took away from the original game, whereas number two they didn't take anything away; they added to it. So maybe if they didn't take away from it, it probably got a lot less backlash. But maybe time constraints. Maybe the DLC there. Maybe they'll add the clock tower and the worm boss. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it all came down to I think they spent a lot more time or had a lot more time
Mm.
making RE2,
Oh yeah, they did.
and then they've rushed RE3. But I think the end product is good enough anyway, and
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
At the end of the day, Resident Evil 3 is still better than like a lot of
Oh,
like I've played a lot of trash in my life. So
and in closing on that, I know I said it's really, really unfair to compare it to number two, but one of my favorite moments in RE3 Remake was when you first climb up onto the fire truck, and it gives you this look of the street, and you're looking down on a street that you spent a lot of time on or in, in Resident Evil 2, and then you can look to the right and see the police station. I got some chills when I first saw that.
Yeah, and you know what? Another cool thing is with RE2 and 3 in the original Resident Evil timeline, they actually are set in the same like day or like there's
Yeah,
a
well,
parallel.
some
I
of
never looked into
RE3
it.
is definitely happening before the
Hmm.
events of RE2.
And I feel like with this remake, they actually fleshed it out a bit more. So they did the linking a lot better. So I
Yeah,
thought that was,
there was definitely some linking. Yeah,
but
yeah,
they did a good job with that.
yeah, awesome. All right, let's move on to a game that I'm not going to be able to say a lot about,
Yeah,
um,
sure.
other than it annoyed me because that's all anybody was streaming for a good week or so there. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Hmm.
Now, Metacritic for this one is sitting at 88. GameSpot gave it 100. One of my favorite outlets, Easy Allies, gave it a 90. Bunch of other 80s and 90s. It's a good game, I can tell. It's a
Hmm.
good game.
Hmm.
What are you thinking, Fox?
Uh, I need a 3 hour video to describe my feelings on it. Look,
Okay.
it's a good game. Um, I I don't have any nostalgia for the first game. I did play the first game when it first came out as a kid, and I was a Nintendo fanboy. And I remember seeing the TV ad for Final Fantasy 7, and I remember just my jaw dropping. I'm like, I get the wrong console. Like that was the first time I ever felt that way. Where I was like, when the Sega came out and Nintendo, I was like, Super Nintendo is better than Sega. When Final Fantasy 7 came out, it was the first time I felt like, oh shit, I wish I got a PlayStation. Anyway, I did play it. I loved the game as a kid. And I replayed the original Final Fantasy 7 again on stream back in January. And Final Fantasy 7 has never been my favorite one. My 6 is my favorite, if people want to know. Um, anyway, replaying 7 again on stream. Talking about 40, 50 hours to get the Platinum Trophy. So from beginning to end, did all the side quests. I really enjoyed the pacing of it. That was the thing I really enjoyed the most about the original Final Fantasy 7 on PS1. But the pacing, the game does not waste your time. There's like every dungeon doesn't drag on. The story, it's like snap, snap, snap. It's really well paced. Like honestly, like if you want to play an RPG for the first time, it's actually a pretty good starting point.
What, the
It doesn't
original
waste
or the remake?
the original.
Okay, okay.
It just doesn't waste. It's a really good storyline. There are some like points where I didn't feel like some characters were fleshed out, but let's not get into that. Anyway, as I was playing Final Fantasy VII on the original PS1 on PS4, I was thinking in my head, this game is 40, 50 hours long, and I finished it. So from Midgar all the way to killing Sephiroth at the end of the game, that is 40 hours long. This HD remake is just Midgar, which the Midgar section in the original PS1 game is 6, 7, 8 hours if you're really bad at games.
If you're
Like
bad.
that's it.
Or you might take your time with games.
Or you take your time. And this Midgar section in the new remake is 40 hours long. And in my head, I'm like, what have they added to the game? Like, is there like a bit where like Cloud goes to like McDonald's and gets a job and like flips patties? Like, I don't know. Like, what do they add to it? So,
And
so like,
what is your answer now?
look, I haven't finished yet, so I can't give a full critique of it.
Hmm.
Some bits they've added to it have been absolutely awesome. As I said, the cross-dressing bit when they had to break into that pervert's mansion, Don Corneo, and they had to dress up Cloud as a girl, and then the girls had to dress up in a sexy outfit. That bit was awesome, absolute tick. That's a remake done right. Like,
And that's an addition though?
that was an addition, yeah.
Okay.
So I guess like the original sequence was like I don't know, an hour long, 30 minutes, but like the remake, that scene was like 2 hours long. It was a lot of fun. It was funny. It was cheeky. It was very perverted. It was very Japanese. I loved it.
Okay.
Some other bits though, just like I'll give you an example. Final Fantasy 7. All right, there's a bit where you have to walk from one sector to another sector. It's literally just two screens of walking, of random encounters, walking, another random encounter. In the remake, they fleshed that bit onto a 2 hour sequence of walking,
Of
with
walking.
like and fighting monsters as well, and moving some puzzles objects around.
Okay.
And in my head, I'm like, did they need to make this bit 2 hours long? Like, I don't mind them fleshing out story bits and like backstories of characters, but other
Okay.
bits, I'm like,
So there's
and like
actual padding put in as well.
it's padding. Like
Okay.
you can't argue it. It's padding.
Yep. Yep.
Like some bits I feel kind of like Resident Evil 2 remake. They added to the storyline, which are cool. Other bits, I'm like,
So I'm happy for a different take because, like, I was looking at a few of the reviews. It's a game I haven't played. Again, I'm Xbox only, but everyone was just praising the hell out of it. I'm liking your different take on it for sure.
Yeah,
Not that
and
you're saying it's a bad game, but just
no.
there
But
are
please,
some criticisms.
people listening to me, I'm not saying the game is a 5. Take your pitchfork away. It's
Yeah,
still a good game.
yeah. But there
It's
are
I
criticisms, and that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if because like my concern is that yeah, if this bit is 40 hours long and the original game this bit was 6 hours long, what's gonna happen to the rest of the game? Like in my head, I'm like, is this game gonna be like 500 hours long? Is it gonna be like the longest story ever told?
Mm.
Is there gonna like that's what I'm worried about. Yeah, apparently, my friends who've already finished it, they said the Shinra headquarters at the end of the game. That bit is apparently really awesome. I haven't got to it yet.
Okay.
So far, I guess I'm on chapter 14. There's 18 chapters. I feel like maybe 6 of the chapters were actually like really cool, a lot of fun.
Yep.
Other chapters were a bit like meh. Other chapters, I was like, this is a waste of time. Not a fan.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd probably give it a game like a solid 7. Still a good game, and the graphics are awesome. The combat system's pretty cool. Boss fights have been
I
a
was
lot
actually
of
going to
fun.
ask. That was my next question. What would you give it if you had to give it a score?
Yeah,
So, what'd you say?
I don't like
7.
I don't like putting numbers on scores in general because people misinterpret numbers every day. As you and I discuss, a 7 is bad to some people.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's gonna get mad right now and give us a dislike on YouTube, but I don't give a crap.
Don't worry.
Yeah. But yeah. I had to put a number on. I'd probably give it a 7. It's still good.
Awesome.
Still a must play. Must play. If you've never played the original, definitely give it a try. But honestly, if you want to play Final Fantasy 7, I think you should play the original.
Okay.
Despite how old it is,
Yeah.
the big oversized polygons in the game, I still think it's a pretty cool game.
All right. Okay, let's move on from that. I want to move on to a segment I want to call the Army Email section. This is where patrons from patreon.com/Aussie Gamer 17 can submit emails and things like that so that I can pick out the best ones and read them out here. Obviously, this is the first episode. I did give a couple of people a couple of days' notice on Patreon to send me something. I've got a couple that I picked out. Just a little sample size of what we can expect in this section. But I did ask my patrons how they're dealing with the pandemic and how they're spending their time. Are they getting more time for gaming, less time, things like that? And Philip from Patreon, Philip. Now I did want to ask him, but I didn't get time how to pronounce his surname. It is or his second name on Patreon. It might not be his real name. Philip YFF. I don't know how to say that. Do you want to have an attempt, Fox, at all?
If
Philip If. And he writes, Aussie, my wife is a quilter, so she's making masks for whoever needs them. About 30... Yeah, very good. About 30 other quilters are involved. All masks are donated and they are providing all materials. Quilters generally use high thread count fabrics that are ideal for blocking particulates. They make them with a pocket so a filter can be inserted if desired. I am helping out with unskilled menial labour. We are retired, so we have not suffered major upheavals in our lives the same way some have. Although I am at home more, I find myself gaming a little less. First, because I'm helping out with the mask making project. Legend, Phil. Very, very big legend.
Yeah. Good on you.
Second, because I'm doing some of the things my wife used to do so that she can make more masks. I've spent more of my time this month playing Code Vein on the PS4. Mm-hmm. We'll wait for Fox's thoughts on that. And
no comment on that.
Yeah. And the Outer Worlds on the Xbox One. I have enjoyed the Aussie 17 100% walkthrough immensely. I am like a wayward child, though, who constantly wanders off and is hard to keep in tow.
There are people like that.
Nevertheless, I am close to completing the first playthrough. The second and final run should be a quick speed run. It's interesting that the Outer Worlds walkthrough was recorded during the big fires in Australia. It seems we must always demonstrate fortitude in the face of adversity. Cheers, Phil. Very well written, Phil. I really appreciate that message, Phil, and really big shout out to you, mate. Thank you for sending that through. And yeah, I feel like Australia got hit real bad. We had fires. We had the floods, and now we've got the pandemic. Bit crazy, but big shout out to Phil and his wife making masks to help out.
And Phil listening, like, thank you so much for your service, or for helping people, effectively keeping them protected, maybe even saving some lives as well. So don't feel that just making that is just a mask. It's a life that you might be saving. That's pretty cool.
Correct. Big shout out to Phil. Thank you very much. And the second email that I want to read out is from Brookioli. Now, you know who that is, Fox, as well. Big supporter of both our channels. And Brooke writes, "This pandemic is hectic for me. I'd love to be spending a lot of my time gaming and getting those sweet trophies, but instead I'm busy working at the hospital. I have far less time for games than I used to, and it sucks. Usually I'd come home from work and spend a few hours gaming, but after spending countless hours at the hospital, I just want to sleep. On the off chance of a day off, I've been playing Detroit Become Human to get the platinum. Marvel's Spider-Man will always hold a big place in my heart, so I play that whenever possible. Trophy hunting is going pretty well despite everything. I've managed to get a couple platinum trophies from smaller games and have almost gotten the Detroit plat. Overall, I'd love for some more gaming time, but unfortunately, my priorities need to be elsewhere at the moment." And a big shout out to Brookie, being she is a nurse, for those that don't get that from that email. So
thank you for your service as well.
Exactly, yeah. So
keeping lives safe. Make sure to everyone out there make sure to treat all medical staff with respect.
I intentionally picked these two emails out because they're two people that I wanted to recognise as doing their bit during this hard time that we're all going through, guys. So
absolutely,
my hat goes off. All right, now before we finish things off here on the podcast, guys, the first episode, it's been a really good time so far, Fox. I've really had a great time recording this with you, so thank you, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show as well.
No worries at all. Always, mate. For those that don't know, Fox, I am hoping to have you as a semi-permanent co-host for as long as you're available. Now what I want to do before we do end is I want to have a little bit of a betting segment for me and you. A bit of a prediction segment, and we're going to keep a tally of the scores. I haven't discussed this part with you yet, but eventually I would like there to be a winner and a bet to be paid out. We need to discuss the finer details. But it may involve one of us going from our current city to another city and having a dinner of some sort.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
What's called state barriers right now?
Yeah, well, we can't do anything right now, but we'll see what it's looking like at the end of the year, okay? Now, Man-Eater, the game that we mentioned earlier about, a man-eating shark. It comes to all platforms on May 22. So that is just under a month from now as we record this. By the time we record the next episode, it should be out. And what I want to know is what the Metacritic score for Man-Eater would be or will be. So, Fox, have you got a prediction for me? I asked you to write something down earlier.
I've got here, so I'm just going to focus. 56, and what do you got? 47. Oh, so we're both predicting it's gonna be an average game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun game, but I think the critics will think it's a 47. I might myself rate it a little bit higher. I am hoping to play it, as I mentioned earlier, on stream, but that was the right way, wasn't it?
Right now, I don't know. Right now, it's showing the wrong way.
Oh, right. You're not watching. Yes.
Was mine reverse as well?
No, yours is fine. Okay. I actually had to turn this bit of paper around. So this is the right way.
Yeah.
But my camera, where I'm recording, is actually mirrored. Even my shirt is around the wrong way on what I'm actually recording. Don't ask me why. Tech. Who knows? And guys, that is it for the first ever episode of the Achievement College podcast. Fox, I want to thank you very, very much for being here. I want to finish by giving you the opportunity to plug your channel again and tell us where we can find you. Have you got any other social medias you want to plug as well? Yeah, of course, all the links will be in the video description.
No worries. So, guys, if you want to follow me, I stream on Twitch every day except Saturday. twitchtv.com/FoxPlaysOfficial. I'm doing trophy hunting right now, doing Trials of Mana. We'll be doing Final Fantasy VII Remake as well once Trials of Mana is done. This next month's going to be a big trick. I might do Persona 5 Royale as well. So a lot of RPGs, if that's what you're into at the moment. But I do like my hard games as well. I've got to go back to Vanquish eventually.
Nice. Awesome, Fox. And of course, I'm Aussie Gamer 17. You can find me at Twitch TV /Aussie Gamer _17. And that's about it, guys. I want to thank you all very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, let us know in the comments down below. Let me know what other segments you'd like to see or what topics you'd like us to cover. Can't promise I will, but we will have a look at the comments, guys. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. See you all later.
Okay, guys. Peace out.